I don't think anyone who's in the public eye can ever truly get used to it. It's always a bit like a video game.
What is it like for you when you meet people and they start crying when they meet you?
Yeah, look, I'm just a regular guy. I mean, hopefully, because I'm a regular guy, and I've overcome quite a bit in my life. So I mean, if that could be an inspiration to people, or you know, the fact that I was able to turn my life around as an inspiration, then that's fantastic. It doesn't really, I don't know, it certainly doesn't get to my head. I don't feel like, oh yes, I should be, let me touch you and make you feel better.
It's like, I think people do assume that it's all just like diamonds and laying around and like money, and it's like, it's not
caviar
like that.
Swimming pools,
Yeah.
which I just got out of.
Mine's filled with tuna.
I think the important thing is just to take it one step at a time. I think if you rush into fame, then that's where it can be really affecting, and if you take it for granted, it can be really affecting. But I love this job and I love working so much that I think I'll continue to work and won't sort of acknowledge the fame side of things really, and just enjoy the work and the process.
I think the idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
Do you remember your first impression of when you became a part of that world yourself and what it felt like for you?
Yeah, I hated it. There was just strictly because I was like young. I was 17 and like insecure and like couldn't deal with the energy like being thrown at me, and it was just like a visceral experience. And now I can like really appreciate and enjoy it.
Is that something that you can ever get used to, you think? Or
I hope not. You know, if you get used to it, you've probably sort of gone crazy a little bit.
So if you get used to that, then some part of you's died, I think. Hopefully I would never become someone who thinks that that's a normal reaction.
It does feel strange on a daily basis, but at the end of the day, anyone that doesn't want to continue doing what they're doing and realizes that there's a bit of a sacrifice to being able to fulfill your dreams should go do something else. That's my attitude.
You know, when people say like, oh, well, when you get into this business, you have to know, like, that's the price you pay, and I disagree with that entirely. It's your job, and it's what you do when you show up on set. It's what we're doing right now. And then after that, I'm not a jerk if I want to like have dinner with my family and I don't want to, you know, engage.
I mean, you know, I recognize there are certain realities in my life that I have to deal with that other people don't have to deal with, that have to, you know, that are connected to my really good fortune. Friends from home come out and visit me and sometimes go, man, I would kill somebody, you know, if I had your life. But the American media is a strange beast. And sometimes it feels a little out of control, you know.
But I haven't had the time to really self-examine in that regard. And the truth is I'm not too keen on it either because I feel like who cares anyway? So, yeah.
If you, like for me, if I didn't have to be famous and I could do the same roles, you know, I would rather not be famous.
You would?
Of course, yeah, of course. Because you can be anonymous, you can watch people better, which allows you to play roles better because you're in touch with people, as opposed to like you have to separate yourself in order to live like normally.
So what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about fame?
I don't know. I don't think they view it as real life. It's like just always perfect or something like, you know, fame is placed very high on the list of things that are important to especially, I mean, the whole world, but like especially in the States, you know? Like it's really above like wealth, like it's above happiness. It's just fame. Pop up. Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? Like it's a constant. It doesn't feel good all the time. In case people think that that's like, trust me, you need a lot more.
I don't know what's happened recently though. I can just let everything just slide off me now. But when I was younger, I just kind of, when people used to wait outside your house and stuff, it's like, it would drive you really, really, really crazy.
I have been, you know, subject to analysis from the media that I thought was neither fair nor accurate. I've been, you know, exposed to the way that it can become kind of a hysteria. and the way in which, you know, a person becomes a commodity.
You know, I guess that's par for the course. You know, people want to, you know, they like to keep the fantasy alive, whether it's good or bad or dramatic or, you know, more interesting than you actually are, or perhaps nobody knows the real interesting you, or whatever it is. You know, you can be pigeonholed and labeled and, you know, torn apart and put up on the pedestal again and whatever. And I think you just have to, you know, it's an adjustment.
The biggest misconception I see often is people feeling like they know someone that they don't, because they know what the media has created of someone. And the disappointing thing is when you meet the people, they're always so much more awesome than they're portrayed to be. I mean, that's normally my experience. And even people that are portrayed to be really great people, they're just a lot more complicated and interesting and nuanced and caring and thoughtful. And that's always nice, you know, to see that your idea of someone isn't always who they actually are.
Being known at any cost, who cares? That can't be good for us. And plus, there's no culture in celebrity culture. Zero. Those TMZ shows, that horseshit People magazine, it's crap. There's no art in it. It's all terrible. I mean, I see people read People magazine, it's like, you're gonna read a magazine where someone's hiding in the bushes to take a picture of someone's children? You're gonna endorse that?
And today everyone else can take pictures of...
And it's completely legal. The internet's the Wild West.
That's sort of an epidemic in our society today, is that everybody thinks that if they become famous somehow, either on Vine or Twitter or YouTube or on any of these talent shows, or if they become famous, they're finally going to be happy.
I don't care what my job is. There's nothing that should make that okay to anyone's children. And then I think you know, when you see those, it's like those, just know those pictures come hard.
You can't just always have the water off a duck's back, like let it just slide. You know, and sometimes you do get affected by certain things and things are frustrating and you want to comment but you don't, and you want to engage, and you know, I think you just kind of, it's like a learning curve. I still adjust. I'm still in the adjustment phase of, you know, figuring out how to kind of, you know, dodge the effects of the media glare. But you know, it's I think you just have to kind of try to stay grounded as much as possible.
You know, if I love what I do, I look at it as a gift, and I know that there's, you know, there's things that come with that, and I fully accept it, and you adapt. You adapt.
Just, there's a lot of wonderful, positive aspects to it. Mm-hmm. Being able to do good with it, being able to be heard, have a platform, bring joy to people, bring awareness to issues.
No, I think, I don't know. I mean, some people, yes, some people have a tendency to look down on regular people, and some people have a tendency to feel like, well, they just kind of, they're weird and awkward and different, and they live in a fishbowl, and they can't be normal. I think it depends. For some people, it's ego, and some people, it's kind of neurosis, I think. But for me, it just happens to be my job. You know, I know that there are pros and cons that come with it. I'm not complaining. I'm very appreciative. I've been very fortunate and very blessed, so.
Do you like the attention, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, and I do appreciate it when I get recognized now, because it's so rare, and it's lovely to be recognized by people because they've obviously seen your work and they've appreciated it and they want to say hello, and it's really lovely. I can see though, if you're like Justin Bieber and you can't go anywhere, it would be quite tough and cumbersome, really. But
especially with all the selfies that people want these days.
I know, and now the thing is, with everyone with a cell phone, the press are everywhere, you know? You can't really go anywhere without being watched. So it's just about being careful, don't do anything silly. And I'm quite sensible, and I'm, well,
You
sort
seem
of.
very sensible.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think it's always different. I mean, I think with Twilight, it was literally from 1 month, there's nothing, and then the next month, it's like fully massive, and I think that was it's a sort of strange learning curve. But then everything comes in like ebbs and flows. And also, like, I think when you're older, like people just, everyone only cares about young people nowadays. Young people with Instagrams. As long as you don't have Instagram, it's fine.
So are people recognizing you when you go out?
I'm getting a
and about?
little bit more. I'm not gonna lie. It was a bit weird. I went for a little shopping sort of trip just to grab some like essentials, and they're kind of like people like staring and kind of like talking. I was like, have I got toilet paper down my pants somewhere, or like.
How do you prepare yourself for something like that? It must feel like, I don't know. It must feel like just what you're saying in the beginning.
I don't think there is a way of preparing. I think really it's taking in your stride, not getting carried away with it, being firmly planted in reality. It's so easy to sort of like just read through all these messages and like just soak it all in and get a massive ego.
Yeah.
But
You know, when you're walking around the street, having a dinner in a restaurant, can you do that kind of stuff still?
Yeah, totally. Especially in New York. I love New York. I'm from LA, and it's a little bit more self-conscious. It's a lot more self-conscious. I feel, when I walk outside here, I feel so alive. So yeah, definitely. I can eat dinner and stuff.
Do you think so too, that people think that they will be happy as soon as they're famous? Or
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are happy when you're famous.
you are happy?
Can't you see this? We're so happy right now. Fame solves it all.
He's got some downsides too.
Fame
too,
solves.
No,
I don't feel any down. I'm famous. You should see how this thing works with me and her. When we go out, it's crazy. I get free food. I work this shit.
Hi there, thanks for watching my channel. If you like that video, maybe there's other videos you like here on my channel, so please subscribe, share, comment, do whatever you like. Be happy, be nice to people, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye.